So, welcome to Nosh. We wanted to create a tool for you, a resource for people who write into us all the time saying, I want to cook healthily, I'm not sure how to do it, my mother says I should do this, my granny says I should do this, and none of those things really feel real anymore. It's really hard to know what healthy food is. Every day in the papers, they tell you, today you should eat this with skin on. Tomorrow you shouldn't eat it with the skin on because the skin has chemicals. Today you should fry your food. Tomorrow you should boil your food. It's impossible. It's really, really hard. So to cut through all of that and to make life a lot easier, we decided to create for you the top tips for healthy cooking. So it's a compilation of do's and don'ts of how to make your food and your cooking much healthier. Short, easy, fast tips. And I'm here today with Tatu, who's the chef nutritionist for Nosh and who runs all of our incredible cooking classes. And we're going to have a conversation about what we think are really, really healthy ideas. Hi, Tatu.
Hi there, how are you today?
Looking forward to working out exactly what we're going to do. So, what do you think the first thing is that people do, which they shouldn't do, which really helps or doesn't help them really to eat healthily when they're cooking?
I think one of the major concerns that we have, especially in the Western world and in England, is we get really overexcited with the whole cooking thing, and actually we should be doing a lot less cooking and a lot more raw.
Why? Why shouldn't we cook? I mean, you're taught to cook, right? When you build a kitchen, you buy pots and pans.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's the overcooking that is a main consideration. And you know, everything seems to be cooked on a Western plate. For instance, if you know, with the vegetables, in a lot of cases, they lose nutritional value, and there's a destruction of the micronutrients.
If you cook them, you mean?
Yeah.
So you're saying that as a raw, I mean, you know, I agree with you because I live like this, but just so that everybody can understand, you're saying that raw vegetables actually have high levels of enzymes and nutrients, and the further you cook them and the longer you cook them, the less they have or retain.
For sure, definitely. One of the only ones that doesn't suffer so badly with cooking is vitamin A, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. But then even if you are cooking your carrots, for instance, you're going to lose all the bioflavonoids in it, which are rather important. So generally, cooking vegetables less, you know, try and limit it to 2 or 3 minutes maximum if you really must cook them, or have them raw. And you also have, you know, you've got all the enzymes in it as well, which really, really help you to digest things. And they taste wonderful. And the less you cook, the less salt and things you need like that. So you're also having the health benefits of balancing out your potassium sodium levels. So
yeah, because also
winning.
When vegetables are raw, they actually are crispier and they retain more of their natural flavors as well. And one of the interesting things that I found is that I don't anymore cook broccoli, I don't cook courgettes. I've never, I mean, I would rather die than cook a pepper because I hate cooked pepper with passion. But these are amazing things that look fantastic on your plate, and children like them too because they just end up being crispier and crunchier. So what we're saying, is that the limper a vegetable looks when you've cooked it, the less good it's going to do for you.
Definitely.
Okay, no more limp vegetables. What about things like meat and fish? What do we do? I mean, you can't, of course you can have raw fish and sushi, and you can have steak tartare, which is raw meat and pretty yucky, but people eat it. Now, that has to be very good quality, and it's a very special case. But in normal life, how much would you cook fish?
Obviously depending on the size of the piece of fish you're having, but I kind of make a rule to myself of a sort of medium-sized sea bass. I never cook it over 11 minutes. And there are a number of reasons. First of all, it tastes 5 million times better when you've got it all just literally falling off the bones. Absolutely divine. But also the oils that we all go on about, these fantastic omega-3 oils in fish. They're very, very delicate, and when you heat them, they start to move and change shape, and then we start to lose the importance of them. So be brave with your fish, and always remember, if you found that you haven't cooked it quite enough and it makes you panic, you can always pop it back in the oven or, you know, back in the steamer and cook it a little more.
I mean, one of the ways, I'm vegetarian, But one of the ways that I used to look at how fish was cooked or not was because it would have changed that color. And it's amazing because I look at you in the cooking classes that we have, and when you take the sea bass, you put it in and you pop it out in 11 minutes, and I find that amazing. Everybody is amazed, but it tastes fantastic apparently. So that's a good thing. Now, what about meat?
Well, the problem is with meat, and I think a lot of us do it. I certainly, before I became comfortable with cooking meat, because I was very much a vegetarian at a young age, we tend to overcook chicken phenomenally, and it comes out really disgusting as a sort of flaky, dry bit of yuck.
That's a technical term, flaky, dry bit of yuck.
And turkey is the same. We do the same thing with turkey, and most people think that turkey is, pretty disgusting meat. But it's actually lovely, very flavoursome, and incredibly healthy with very high levels of things like tryptophan in it. But it's also got very low levels of saturated fat. But
so it's like a lean meat, which is what makes it really good.
It's great. It's very nutritious.
So what should you do to cook meat well? I mean, so I've watched, my partner cook my children's meat because they're all raving carnivores, and it's very tragic, but there we are. And he will literally take steak, sear it on a really high heat on one side, and then flip it and cook it for 3, 4, or 5 minutes. I mean, to me, that's terrifying, but the meat comes out perfect.
Yeah, I think it does come out perfect, and it's fantastic because it's lovely and raw in the middle. Cooking meat at a high heat, very sadly, although it's absolutely delicious, is actually rather damaging, especially on an open grill. So I'm sorry to say, but although barbecues are amazing, they're not very good for you.
Why aren't they very good for you? You're killing my summer.
Yes.
Well, not my summer, because I don't care, but you're killing lots of people's summer.
Well, what happens is when you put the meat on an open flame, it produces 2 different types of toxins. Their names evade me right now, but they're both highly carcinogenic. So if you're having, barbecued meat all the time, you're putting a lot of toxins in your body, which is putting an amazing amount of stress on the liver. And for the most part, people who tend to eat lots of very cooked meat tend to not eat very many raw vegetables. So you have no balance with the antioxidants cleaning up all the damage that these carcinogens do.
Well, and another thing that I should point out here is one of the things that I try and train any of my clients that come towards me is that if you're going to eat meat, eat raw leaves with it. If you're looking at a plate that has meat on it, and if you must, then absolutely, as much as you can, put raw leaves on the same plate, because those raw leaves will act as the most fantastic fiber intestinal cleanser, and they push the meat through your system so that it can be removed. Because raw meat or cooked meat can rot in your intestine for absolutely ages, and that's gross. So if you're going to eat meat, eat it less cooked than you would normally imagine. Don't eat it over an open fire, and have it on a plate with raw leaves. Yes?
Definitely. I think raw vegetables with any type of protein is such a good idea. I tend to strangely enough, have beet leaves in the morning with, my scrambled eggs or whatever it is, or my scrambled tofu. I put green leaves in anything. I have a slight panic attack if there isn't lots of green leaves somewhere in the near vicinity of my mouth.
Well, actually, I think you should all have a panic attack, because one of the fastest ways for us to lose weight is to eliminate well, and to feel better is also to eliminate well. So if you're going to eliminate, what you need to do is have stuff that helps you to eliminate. We only talk about fiber in terms of roughage and cereal and bran. Green leaves, they're your fastest, most efficient source of fiber, readily available absolutely anywhere. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was a small piece by us about the first healthy cooking mistake that everybody makes. Thank you, and Tatu, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It was nice to chat to you.